What's up, guys? Here we are doing our first ever podcast. And yeah, so in this podcast, what I was kind of thinking we were going to talk about is a lot about Black Ops 4,
Black Ops 4.
Call of Duty game this year. And just for the podcast in general, we're going to be making these like every single week for all kinds of topics. So what happens that week, any like funny stories, anything like that. Just basically talking about our lives and just, normal podcasts. So, first up, what I really wanted to talk about, and I've been dying to talk about, because we've talked about this before. We've talked about Black Ops 4 before.
Oh, yeah.
For hours. And we've, like, you even said, you're like, we should stop talking about this.
We gotta stop talking and just start talking to the camera. We gotta get this recorded. We talk tons about all sorts of crap that's interesting and hopefully everyone wants to know.
So, okay. So, for Black Ops 4, all we know this year officially is that Activision has confirmed that there is a Call of Duty game coming out this year in 2018, and it's going to be made by Treyarch. That's all the official news we have. There is no official news at whether or not it's going to be a Black Ops 4. There's no official news if it's going to be boots on the ground. There's no official news whether it's going to be jetpacks or World War II or whatever. Yeah, like honestly. So there are some things that we can assume, and that we're going to talk about those. So first off, what I think we should talk about is boots on the ground versus jetpacks.
Yeah,
so,
freaking.
What do you think about jetpacks compared to boots on the ground?
They overdid it once they got into the futuristic stuff. They started off pretty bad with Ghosts, and then they got into jetpacks with Black Ops 3 and Advanced Warfare and Infinite Warfare. And Black Ops 3 was pretty good. I liked it a lot. I personally, we played a whole ton. But then Advanced Warfare and Infinite Warfare is just a little bit too much. Jetpacks are okay, and I liked it. It was pretty smooth in Black Ops 3, but I think it's kind of time that we dial it away from that, because it's a little bit too jumpy and all over the place. It
doesn't quite feel like Call of Duty.
Yeah, it's more like Halo, where you can just jump and float and fly away. But
yeah, I think games like Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1, and Black Ops 2 are like the pinnacle Call of Duty games that people like, and those are all boots on the ground.
Yeah.
I mean, the timelines and like the settings and all those are different. We're going to get into the settings a little bit later, but for the most part, like, just boots on the ground has been what's worked with Call of Duty. So Advanced Warfare brought Call of Duty out of boots on the ground and into the jetpack era. And I think it was a necessary change, because at that time Call of Duty was stale. Ghosts was boring.
Oh my gosh. Ghost was awful.
Yeah, most people were bored of Ghosts so fast, and I think that was the first time ever in Call of Duty history that they had more people playing the previous Call of Duty game than the current. Yeah. So they had more people playing Black Ops 2 than they had playing Ghosts.
Ghosts was, credit to them, they always make a fantastic, campaign, and the story's really good. I really liked the campaign. After the campaign, I was like, you know what, this is a fun game, I like it, let's move on. Let's go into some multiplayer, some of the, and the alien crap that they did, and multiplayer was not very good to me. I didn't like it very much at all, and I was like, wow, this game is, not the pinnacle triangle of, Black Ops, where the zombies, multiplayer, and campaign were fantastic.
Yeah.
It was, campaign, it's pretty dang good, but they never do make a bad campaign. And then, and then their multiplayer and Extinction.
Yeah, so like the triangle, you had like, campaign was really good up top, and like you want to have like a perfect triangle with a Call of Duty game.
You have to have
3
a good
modes
base.
are balanced. But with that game, it was like the campaign was good. The side over here with multiplayer was just dreadful.
Oh my gosh, it was so trash.
And then Extinction wasn't. I mean, it was good. I played it a lot personally.
We had a lot of fun doing a couple things on it, but
it got boring fast.
Yeah, it's just not. It just wasn't the same. It was just and it was hard for me to differentiate between a lot of things in Extinction. It was really the same, just a different map. And I mean, I guess some zombie maps could be, argued to be like that. Yeah. But for the most part, setting was completely changed, and the storyline of each single one was supposed to be adding on to each other, and it made it fun. And it was like, even if you couldn't finish, somebody did, and you could look up another video to find out what happened. It was like an actual, like, when you're watching a TV series, you're looking forward to the next episode and find out what happens next into the whole thing. And that's what every single, like, Black Ops game was. You had, your starting off characters and everything, and, Rektoffen and all of them, and how it went. And then you had Black Ops 2 where it was even more in sync, where it was more like a pathway to find where it was.
Yeah.
And then even Black Ops 3, they bring it back again, and all the maps were just fun and good. Yeah. But in Extinction, it was like, there's no storyline. I didn't know what really was starting off, what was going on. I'm like, there's aliens.
And there's like one set goal. It's to, like, get in the first map, point of contact. You have to get to the nuke, activate the nuke, and get back to the helicopter. That's it.
That's all you do.
So once you do that and you get back to the helicopter, you win. And so it's like, okay, there goes an hour. But then it's like, do I really want to play that again?
It's like, I finished it.
So you're like, I could use some different guns this time. I could try it again and try and get it quicker or something.
It's kind of like the Easter eggs in the zombies, but they're hard. Yeah. Those are legitimately hard. And not all of them were super hard, but it was like, even the ones like Mob of the Dead, are basically our almost favorite map ever for zombies. We completed that Easter egg, dozens of times. Mm-hmm. And because it's fun, and you go and you do it, and it may be the same thing, but there's all sorts of things that you gotta do, and every single game is different just because how you play it. And the random, points to it, hitting the box, trying to get the Blundergat or anything, and it changed it all up. In Extinction, it was just, you knew exactly what you were getting
over and over.
Buy this gun, and then buy this, thing, and you're set and ready, and you're like, this is basically what I want for the whole game, and now I'm just gonna kind of go with it. Oh wait, let's throw a pack of, of armor or another
ammo or something.
Thing of ammo, and it's like, okay, there's no like, I really hope we get a max ammo this round. I really hope, because I'm getting screwed. My guns are all out of ammo. We're on round like 38. No.
And there's like, there wasn't any really good weapons. Like, sure, in like Nightfall, there was like the Venom X. And in a couple of the other maps, like, they brought back the Venom X and Mayday. And they had like the Arc was an attachment on some of the guns and stuff. But really, though, it was like the same multiplayer weapons. There was like no really good weapon that I guess in the last map Exodus, there was that like weird charging one.
Yeah.
But I mean, other than that, it's like in zombies we got stabs, we got bows, you got the like KN, or what is that called in Zetsubu? The KN4 or something like that.
I don't know. Something like that. But it's like it was they're all different, and it's like all sorts of different things. Call of the Dead
has the freeze gun. And it also has the scavenger. Moon has the wave gun. Like, and then there's the ray gun, the thunder gun, all these cool wonder weapons, things that like you want to get. Those are like the good ones.
They can change the outcome of how far you can go, or if you can finish the Easter egg. I mean, that was one of the things that I liked in Zetsubu, was like, no matter whether you were going for the Easter egg or not, getting the KN was like key. Was like something that everyone did, and upgrading it may not have been everyone's first priority if you were just surviving, but it was something that you would want to do. Everything that was part of the Easter egg you wanted to do. You wanted the shield, you wanted to finish all of your challenges so you could get the free perk, the free dingo or SVG, and then I think they switched it up so you could get some other stuff too.
I don't remember the other guns.
I don't know what the other ones were, but those were the two.
You could get like the perk bottle and stuff too.
Yeah, perk bottle, and then the max ammo.
Yeah,
and those three, you were like, I just want to finish them just so that I can have them. And then you always wanted to get get through the entirety of the bunker and get all the stuff because it was all just good. You have to get the three parts to open up the Pack-a-Punch because of course you need the Pack-a-Punch.
Yeah.
And you don't need the Pack-a-Punch for the Easter egg, but it was something that was you're gonna do it. It's the guns that you want and you need. And
that's something I liked about Zetsubu was that in order to do the Easter egg, you had to do a lot of those things that you would normally do.
Yeah.
Turn on the power. The KT4, that's what it's called.
KT4, there we go.
You get the KT4, you would probably upgrade it, even if you're just surviving and all this stuff, and then after that, it's like...
And the gas mask, too.
Yeah, you get the cogs, and then you go down in there and you have the boss fight. Yeah, so it's like...
And the cogs is the only part that, derails from what you would normally do.
Yeah. So that's why I like that map's Easter egg, is because a lot of it's just normal stuff, and that's kind of how Origins is, for the most part. The biggest part of Origins, in my opinion, is just getting the stabs, getting them upgraded, and also getting your Thunder Punch and the upgraded Thunder Punch. That's all things you would normally do in a game if you're trying to survive. But then there's those couple other steps in there, here and there, that you would do for the Easter egg. But that's what makes it fun. So a lot of it is the same thing. But then there's other maps where you have to go way out of your way to do the steps that have nothing to do really with the map and are just weird. But
I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it just I like it when it flows together, like how in Zetsubu and Origins. Mob of the Dead was a little bit out of the way, but it was just it was cool because it was it's partially history.
Yeah.
That happened, and Alcatraz is cool.
It's a cool story. It's a cool story that just works with the map. At the very end of the Easter egg, you get all those little headphone
audio clips.
Things. Yeah. And it tells the story of the map. And then you go up to the roof, you get on the plane, and it plays a different song when you're on the plane, and then you can choose a different outcome. You can kill the weasel, you can have everybody or have the weasel kill everybody else.
And it says repeat the cycle.
Or the cycle is broken,
when
just
you
a bunch of stuff
kill the other three.
Yeah.
Or two, depending on how many people you have. But it was it was cool and it was fun. You always you wanted to go to the bridge anyways.
Yeah.
So that was part that flowed in. You would you'd get all the parts.
Was the Blundergat required? I don't remember.
No, the Blundergat, because you had to get all the parts, go to the bridge. Mm-hmm. Then you had to come back, get the fuel, go to the bridge, and then get the fuel again, go to the bridge, and then you had to do some other things. So you don't need the Blundergat. But the Blundergat is it's a really good gun, and you can get a free one and one out of the box. And the greatest thing, one of the best things about Mob of the Dead, I think, is that it didn't have any crap guns. It didn't have the War Machine. Mm-hmm. It didn't have any of these awful guns. I mean, I think it still had the DSR.
Yeah,
but
DSR
that was the worst gun that was in there, and it's not awful. I mean, you can still use it. War Machine, it's
no,
might as well have the frickin' starting pistol.
Yeah, it's just worthless. So speaking of Mob of the Dead, that's something that kind of ties in with Black Ops 4, is that Mob of the Dead could be remastered for Black Ops 4.
Which would be so cool for us,
Yeah.
We love that map.
And so for Black Ops 3, Treyarch did Zombies Chronicles, which came out with Noct, Verrückt, Shinonuma, Kino, Ascension, Shangri-La, and Moon. And Origins.
Yeah, there you go. So all the ones with the original 4 characters.
8 maps, yeah. 8 maps. And so the ones they didn't include were Zerice, but that makes sense because it was already remastered in Black Ops 3 as the Giant, so no need to do that. They didn't include 5, which
didn't have the original 4. It was just kind of, off the campaign.
It was still a cool map, and I really would like them to remaster it. It was a really fun map.
Really fun map. That was one of the ones we used to play when we were, younger. All throughout the summer was 5 and all those, maps like that.
Yes, they had 5, Dead Ops Arcade, which they have Dead Ops Arcade 2, and it's they didn't really need to remaster the first one. I don't really care about that.
But it still is the same thing.
It still is technically a zombies map, so they got 5, Dead Ops Arcade, Call of the Dead. Call of the Dead's an amazing map. I really wish they would do that one again.
That one was really cool. I think that one was one of the best ones that Black Ops 1 had. Mm-hmm. And, if they could bring it back and remaster it, the graphics on it would be, fantastic. With the technology we have now and how we can change it up, it would be
Yeah.
it would be really cool. Because I mean, I loved it, and I thought it was really cool. How fog would sometimes come in and be hard to see.
Yeah.
And they did that in Black Ops 1.
Yeah,
when
on
it
the
was
Xbox
when it was
360.
new and like a cool thing. And now if they brought it in, they could like up it.
Yeah, they
the
could do
ante,
so much more
it would
with
be
it.
so cool. I'd love to have that map remastered. So crossing your fingers for that one.
And then the other two maps for Black Ops 1 are Shangri-La and Moon. Those are both remastered in Zombies Chronicles already.
Yeah.
Then, and when we get into Black Ops 2, there's Transit, which, if they remastered it, Transit was an okay map. It wasn't
awful.
But it wasn't, I don't think it was anybody's favorite. It really didn't stick out too much. But,
I mean, even the people that I know that, like, only played Transit, like, don't have any DLC or anything, like, their favorite part of it isn't Transit. It's, like, Green Run or, the Bus Depot or something.
Bus Depot, Farm, Town, and then they finally added in Diner into Turned, which Turned and Grief are cool modes that I think they should bring them back.
Yeah, they are.
It's cool, like, you get to play a different type of zombies other than just, like, survival.
I mean, we didn't play it a whole ton, but we played it enough because we're like, this is cool. This is like a new thing. I mean, it wasn't like this big new thing that everyone loved to do. I mean, there wasn't a whole ton of people on it, but it was like a cool little thing that you're like, you know what, I could play Grief today, or I could play Turn today, or whatever. Mm-hmm. And it would be, it's a fun time. It's not boring by any means, and it's frustrating. Some people were really good at that, and it was hard. But, it was always fun to play. And I liked that, but, they kind of got rid of it, which I don't really mind either. It's no, Lost.
It's not a make or break.
I'm not going to cry, but...
Yeah. So then, in Black Ops 2, they had Transit, which you can break those up into those other small survival maps, but if they're going to remaster Transit, they're going to probably bring back Farm, Town, and Bus Depot.
And even if they don't, it's not
the
biggest deal in the world,
Yeah, so then we got... After that map, we also have Nuketown Zombies.
Yeah.
Nuketown Zombies, that was a fun map.
I like that. I have a buddy who that's his favorite map, and we played that for a long time. We can you can get on a high round with that, but it was a good map. It was a good solid map. There wasn't anything special with it. It's something that like everyone knows. It's Nuketown.
Yeah,
it's just
it was cool because it's like cool. It's Nuketown, everyone's like favorite multiplayer map, but you get to play zombies on it, so it's like. It's cool to just play it every once in a while.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the funnest thing, but it was like how Turned and Grief were. It was like, this is cool. It's like, I think I want to kind of play this today. It was just a cool like little thing to put in there. That's just kind of like a little thing that was nice to have.
Yeah, I feel like it was a whole lot like those survival maps because survival maps, the point of those were you just really want to get in, play some zombies, and have it be quick. You don't want to be on like Transit. You don't want to have to. Slave to get the power on, get guns, travel across the map, pack a punch, and all that stuff. And, Transit takes time, whereas these survival maps, you hop on, Town, you can be pack a punched in, 10, 15 minutes, You
just play, and it's fun. Yeah. And they're not meant to last for, a long time. I mean, people, they go for really high rounds. They're like, I want to try to get to round, 40, 50, 60. And it's they're meant for, you play for a good, 30 minutes, an hour, and people go down, and it's all like, crap, we could have done better. And, you get back on, you play. And it's meant to be that start up and come up and kind of go down quick. It's not supposed to be that whole, let's take a really long time by, saving a zombie and doing the Easter egg. It was supposed to be just one of those fun little maps that you can do. It doesn't make or break the game. It's just, a fun little thing in there.
Yeah.
Which I personally really liked it. I mean, it wasn't my favorite map, but...
Yeah.
It's still a good thing.
If they remastered Nuketown, I'd be okay with it. It'd be something fun to play. After Nuketown, we have Die Rise, which Die Rise... It's an okay map.
It was interesting. I didn't like... I think the Sliquifier was, the one wonder weapon that I was like, eh...
Yeah.
And, it was weird how everything worked in that map. I mean, it was fun once you got into it... and you were, farther into it and you were surviving, it was fun. But, the beginning rounds were just, you just had to, claw your way through the whole thing. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, it wasn't a bad map by any means. Yeah. It was pretty good. I liked it, but it wasn't the best map that they had at all.
Yeah. So with that, something that I really like, what kind of Treyarch has done with the DLC maps, is they've kind of teased one map to another. So at the end of the Gorod Krovi Easter egg, the Easter egg ends and it's like to be continued, and then it slowly like fades from black, and it says Revelations. There's like music going, and then it goes boom. So by the time you finished the Gorod Krovi Easter egg, which I'm pretty sure people solved within like 2 days of the map being out.
Yeah, it's crazy how people do that. You know, it takes us
Yeah.
so long to finish it, just like having help. And I mean, we end up memorizing how to do it, but it's crazy how fast people can do that. It's like, you know, 12 hours into the DLC coming out, somebody has an Easter egg video up on YouTube, and it's like, not everybody who even plays the Easter eggs and goes for them originally are on YouTube. And so just the people who are on YouTube who are able to get it so quick is just ridiculously fast.
Yeah. So with Gorod Krovi, they teased the name of the next map, the final map in Black Ops 3, Revelations, at the end of the Easter egg, which I thought was really cool. Die Rise did the same thing with Mob of the Dead. Once you died in Die Rise, and like it's showing like the scoreboard and stuff, and like kind of showing you like the cinematic, like go through the map, and it's like game over, you survived X amount of rounds. You can hear, like I think it's Brutus, he's like walking up to a cell, and then he like slams the cell door shut. And so everyone was like, I guess the next map takes place in a prison. Next map was Mob of the Dead. So they teased the next map in the previous one, which I think was really cool.
Yeah.
Mob of the Dead has to be remastered. After that, we got Buried. Buried would be okay.
I liked Buried. Buried was fun to play, especially if you're trying to get points in the bank to like finish the transit Easter egg or something. Like, if you're just trying to get points in the bank at all, like Buried was fun just to get in, put all of the drawings on the walls, all the chalk drawings, and then just get the AN-94 and then just sit where Jug is and just, you know, lay out zombies, and everyone's just playing and you're going. And it was good. It was like a fun little survival map if you were trying to do it like that.
Yeah.
And the Easter egg was a pain in the butt, although it was still a good Easter egg. I liked it.
Yeah.
It's not their best map, of course, but, you know, according to me, the best map was, you know, Origins.
Yeah.
So.
So, like, Buried, I feel like is a good half survival, half, like, regular map, because you can basically play survival on Buried just like you would on Nuketown or Town or Farm or something like that. You can quickly get Pack-a-Punch, get guns you need and stuff, and just hang out and not play the Easter, or not do the Easter egg, not do anything else, and just basically use it as a survival map, which was really cool and really fun. But then if you were someone who wanted a map more like Origins or Mob of the Dead or Die Rise, one of these bigger maps with more things to do, it was also that same way.
You could do it. I mean, it wasn't a huge map, but there was stuff to do, and there was ways to make it bigger. Like when you had to go through the witch's like mansion or whatever it was called, and
then you got the maze.
You go through, and then you have to go through the maze, and then you have to go, and you can like jump into the well, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then you can go back to the starting place, and the starting place is, you know, that little area, and then you jump back down in, and you can make it big by how you play it.
Yeah.
And I mean, you could play it small survival, like just how we would stay around the saloon, and then or by the jail. Is that what it was? It was a jail,
Yeah.
and then you know, just any place around there. Or you could make it big by going through into the courthouse and into the chapel and the mansion, and you can make it big. And it was fun either way you wanted to play it.
Yeah, so Buried was a really fun map, and then, of course, after Buried, we had Origins. So, out of all the Zombies maps, I think, for all of them, any of them to be remastered, none of them stick out more than Mob of the Dead, and I would say Call of the Dead. Call of the Dead was a good one, and I'd love to see that remastered, but I don't think anybody wants to see it remastered as much as anybody wants to see Mob of the Dead remastered.
Oh, yeah.
Mob of the Dead is the...
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. All these other ones, it'd be kind of cool to have them, but...
I mean, I'd just like to have all of them remastered.
Yeah. And I feel like at this point with like Black Ops 4, if we had them remastered, every Zombies map in Black Ops 4, going from Origins in like Black Ops 3 to Black Ops 4, I don't think there'd be much of a difference because it's still within the same console generation. So that's like one of the cool things about, say, the Giant compared to Derice. And it was so cool seeing the difference because it was like, here we have a World at War map. I mean, it was in Black Ops 1, but it wasn't changed like at all. World at War map going to Black Ops 3. So there was 2 Call of Duty games in between those two.
And the difference between them was phenomenal.
And you went from one console generation to another. You went from the Xbox 360. World at War was like halfway through the Xbox 360's life cycle or so.
Was not a bad game.
Yeah.
Really good game. Liked that game a lot.
All the way up to Black Ops 3, which was like right about the start of like the Xbox One and PS4's life cycle. So you could definitely see the huge graphical increase.
Oh, yeah.
But I feel like if they remastered or brought back any of the Black Ops 3 maps, any maps that were in that game,
still better.
To Black Ops 4, it would look better. But I don't see them having too many changes.
There's no necessary need for it. Because, like, it's still in the same console generation, you know? It's still going to be the Xbox One. So, like, even if they remastered it, it would be, you know, pretty much the same graphics.
Yeah.
They would maybe change things here and there, but there wouldn't be a whole lot of difference because, I mean, even if you have the Xbox One X and a 4K TV, like, some of the best quality stuff, I mean, yeah, it's going to get better, but it's also going to be way better if you're playing just it on Black Ops 3.
Yeah.
So, I don't see anything from Black Ops 3, even probably the entirety of the Chronicles, being remastered at all.
Yeah.
It's probably only going to be... I mean, I could see them remastering, since Chronicles was the starting 4 characters, you know, that was the reason that it was Chronicles, was that it was all of those starting 4 characters from all the games. That was what they were remastered. I could see them doing all of the off characters, like 5, where it has, you know, the president and those guys, and then you have
Call of
the Dead that has just those random celebrity characters, and just all those maps that just have the random people, and do that in all in one, because it's just the random people, and then maybe in, you know, a Black Ops 5 or whatever comes with that, then do, you know, your Black Ops 2 characters with those 4, with Transit and Die Rise, Buried, where those all those characters came, and you could remaster those. But I don't see any reason to do any Black Ops 3 or Chronicles games.
Yeah.
Or I mean maps while they're just in, you know, the Black Ops 3, just a game below, just, you know, a couple of years back, but same
console
graphics,
generation,
same console generation, everything.
So, for Mob of the Dead, we do have a little bit of news and like kind of speculation with that it will be in Black Ops 4, and that comes from one of the developers at Treyarch, one of the guys who works at Treyarch. He had kind of a shrine put up in his office at Treyarch to everybody wanting Mob of the Dead remastered. There was somebody who went on, who like made up a poster of saying like, we want Mob of the Dead remastered, something like that, and held it up like on live TV on this newscast in the background, and somebody like took a screenshot of that, and so that was on like Reddit and like all over the internet, because people are like, whoa, that's pretty cool.
It's like, wow, everyone thinks it's just them. They're like, I thought I was the only one who wanted that remastered. I really like that map. No, everyone likes that map.
Yeah. Then there was also a wrestling match or something like that, or a boxing, something like that, where someone in the crowd was also doing that.
And it just pops up all over the place.
Somebody made a T-shirt with it on it. There was a bunch of things. And this guy at Treyarch has them like posted up, printed out, and posted up on his wall in his office. So obviously Treyarch is listening to the community, and it's like, oh, people want Black Ops, or people want modern Mob of the Dead, that's it. So they want Mob of the Dead remastered. And so that was like a huge thing. The guy took a picture of it and put it on Twitter, but then later that tweet got taken down. So, you know, I don't know if
Treyarch's like, hey, we can't be leaking this too early, you know.
Or the guy might have just taken it down himself because he's like, oh, I might be giving off the wrong vibe. People are taking this as Mob of the Dead's being remastered, like confirmed, and that's not his goal. Yeah. So, I mean, it could either be either or, but I feel like Mob of the Dead is, since it's such a fan favorite map and so many people want it remastered, Treyarch has to do it. Everybody wanted Origins in Black Ops 3, and so Treyarch did it. Everyone was like, come on, please remaster this awesome map.
Oh, yeah.
And Treyarch was like, alright, cool.
And they did it in a way that brought all these other maps that were pretty freaking good too, and brought them up. And it's fun because, like, I never really got back into Black Ops 1, like, once Black Ops 2 came out, and then the Xbox One came out, it was hard to go from one console back to the other to play these maps. And so it was all just, the Black Ops 3 maps, and it was just that. And then once they remastered Black Ops 2, it was like fantastic. I can play all these maps and I don't have to like go back onto my 360. It's not like a big it was a big jump trying to go back and forth between consoles. I mean, it seems like a very, first world problem, but it's still
too hard,
it's like it would be nice to have everything condensed on one instead of having to jump between consoles.
Yeah, because for like a couple of years when I first got my Xbox One, I still had my 360 set up and I still played my 360.
Yeah.
But it didn't stop me from wanting Black Ops 2 on my Xbox One.
Yeah.
Because I was like, technically it would take me about 20 seconds to start playing Black Ops 2 again. I'd take my HDMI out of my Xbox One, put it in my 360, turn it on, click Black Ops 2, and I'm playing it. But it's like, there was just something about it.
It's just
It was just like, it was just like, you don't want to do that, Even though it's super, like, it really is a first world problem. It's kind of lazy. But at the same time, that's just us, because we still held on to our Xbox 360s.
Oh, yeah. I still have my Xbox 360, and it's hooked up, too.
Yeah. There's so many people out there who got rid of their 360s. They traded them in for an Xbox One, or they got rid of them, or they just broke or something, So many people who only have these new consoles, so they don't have that luxury of going back like we do.
Yeah.
So that was definitely one thing that, like, definitely was a reason why they brought back, like, Origins in it, but Mob of the Dead could be in Black Ops 4, could be a starting map, like on the disc, or they could have it like the Giant, where the Giant wasn't on the disc. It was if you bought the season pass, you got the Giant. Could be a map like that. I could definitely see them doing that.
Yeah.
Everybody wants Mob of the Dead. If people want to get Mob of the Dead, they're going to have to buy the season pass.
Which, buy the season pass, it is worth it. I promise you.
And so Activision wants people to buy the season pass as soon as the game comes out, or even before the game comes out.
Oh, yeah.
And if they advertise Mob of the Dead, you get Mob of the Dead with the season pass. Like, everyone's going to get the season pass and the DLC eventually, because all the DLC maps are always good.
Yeah.
But Activision wants you to buy it as soon as possible. They want you to buy it so quick. So what better way than to have Mob of the Dead be that map included with the season pass?
Everyone would get the season pass, which is a smart thing, because if you buy the season's pass, you only end up saving what, like
$10.
$10, but in the long run, it's like you save $10. Come on, $10 is like, now you can go buy a pizza while you play or something.
Yeah,
but it's always it's good just to have it, just because like now you don't have to worry about it. Instead of like buying every single one separately and be like, oh crap, I gotta spend this much. Oh crap, I gotta spend $15 on this. Like once every 2 or 3 months that it comes out.
Yeah. And
now you're just like, okay, I spent $50 on the season's pass. I don't end up having to pay the $60 that it actually is. Plus,
you don't have to worry about
I get
it for the
this
rest of the
free
season.
map. I get a free map. Even if you buy all the DLC one by one, you
don't
can't get the Giant. In Black Ops 3.
They eventually brought it out separately for, I think, like $5 or $10 or something like that, where you could buy the Giant separately. But it's like,
but now you have to buy it for $5 or $10 when that brings the cost of the season pass overall down, because like instead of paying $10 more, you pay $20 more so that you can get this game that was free. Well, this map that was free in the season's pass.
So I definitely think Mob of the Dead will be part of the season pass for Black Ops 4. That's probably, I would definitely say that's what's going to happen. Treyarch knows it'll be a bestseller. Activision knows it will be too. So Mob of the Dead, I say it's really likely to be included in Black Ops 4. We kind of derailed from it a little bit and talked about zombies.
Yeah.
Kind of going back to it with the jetpacks and whether it'll be jetpack versus boots on the ground. I think it has to be boots on the ground, because that was one of the things about World War II that made so many people like the game and buy the game and want the game.
Because they went from, their 3 or 4 years?
3 years.
Of doing this, advanced futuristic warfare where you're jumping around, you have exosuits, you have all this whack stuff that, like, everyone's like, that's cool, that's really cool to think about, but it's like, once you start getting in the game and playing it, kind of like ruins the whole I'm shooting you with a gun thing. It's like it changes the whole perspective of it. Like I'm jumping around and I'm shooting you with a gun with bullets.
Yeah.
That hasn't changed. I mean, that it's not a whole big deal, but it's like it kind of like it makes it flow weird.
Yeah.
Like it still kind of works. Like in Black Ops 3 they did it not too much.
Yeah.
Where it was good, and then they made it got worse when they started adding even more, and
so like I think with the advanced movement, one of the reasons I was first excited for Advanced Warfare after having Ghosts was with this advanced Ghosts was boring, and with Advanced Warfare I was like, oh, you got like boost jumping and all this stuff and strafing and stuff. I'm like, so if somebody masters that, they master the movement, there'll be this huge skill gap between someone who doesn't even know how to like jump and all this stuff and somebody who can master the movement and be jumping around and stuff. But when it came down to it in reality, there wasn't that much of a skill gap because people would just jump at random, even if they had like no idea really how to like completely like I
screwed people up because they'd be playing it for forever and I just start playing and I can just jump around and people are like, oh crap, can't follow you with their gun,
Yeah, so like it works in theory, and you would think that in theory it would be good because there'd be a bigger skill gap. But in reality, when you play it, it's like all like someone who barely picks up the game, all they have to do to really throw you off is just jump around a lot. And there's not as big of a skill gap.
It's kind of a pain in the butt more than a fun thing. It's just like, oh crap, here we go again.
Yeah, whereas like Black Ops 2, you just have a level playing field where you don't have to worry about someone clear up here or clear down here or off to it's like you just have to worry about them right here.
Everyone's on the ground. There's no extra bull crap. It's just all the same. You're all on the ground. There's no like different movements that people can make. There's like some people can have something that'll make them run faster, and it's like you run like a tiny bit faster, but it doesn't really affect the whole outcome of the game. It doesn't affect like, oh, I can jump over this house.
Yeah.
Like it's just like, okay, I can run a little bit faster. Maybe I can get to the objective just this much before the other team and get them just a little bit off guard. Just pop and everybody can use it. So even if you think you can do that, there's another person that's doing the same thing. And so it's a really even playing field. And it's all about your aim and your just how you can freaking shoot. It's just straight up. It's nothing like I can jump like this way and it'll totally throw you off. It's a little bit too much with the jumping with all that, which is why I loved World War II because for the other three, Advanced Warfare, Black Ops 3, and Infinite Warfare, like credit to them, they went out on a limb and they did something different and they did something new and it was cool, but it was just a little bit too much. But then they figured out that what everyone loves to do is play an old game, something that people know, something that's real, something that happened, something that people can, be more emotionally and attached, like human nature towards, because this was a war that happened. A lot of these things were in actual war. Like, it's really cool and it's right up there, and you're like encased in this game that was real. Like everything happened. Like even if the story is skewed a little bit from anything that could have happened or anything that did happen, it was like, this is a real war. This is something that really happened, and this was like years ago, and everything's different now because of this war. And then you're deep into it, and the game was fun and everything was level and everyone can play, and like the guns, let me tell you, I didn't like sniping. I wasn't a very good sniper. It was just kind of a, an thing. Like one sniper, I'm like, I'm pretty good with this, it's okay. But like you had to be good, especially in the futuristic warfare games. It's like I'm trying to snipe somebody who can like jump 40 feet in the air and then just like fly some whack direction. It's like I have to hope somebody decides to run, boots on the ground. In this game, it's like this is how it's supposed to be. This is what a sniper is. A one shot, like long distance. They're running and you just head case as they run across the map and you pop. There they go. You know, that's how it was. And sniping in this game was actually really fun. And guns that both of us, we were diamond.
Yeah, on the diamond snipers.
On the snipers. So and we've been diamond snipers for a little while. And the game's been out only for like
3 months.
3 months. And we're already diamond snipers.
We got diamond snipers within like the first month of the game being out.
Because the snipers are so good. They're just really good. I mean, the worst one, the Kar 98, is that what it was? Carabin. The Carabin. Kar 98 is really freaking good, actually. The Carabin, worst one, still really good.
Yeah.
You know, it's the semi-auto, but it's a really freaking good gun. I mean, first little bit, it's hard to use. It's really hard to use. And then you switch to one that's just, you know, the bolt action. And then you get used to that. And then you come back to the Carabin, and you're like, crap. Now I'm using this, and it's harder to use. But then we got used to it. Me and you both got used to it real quick. Like, you just start using it, and you get used to it really freaking fast. Yeah. And you start getting headshots like you have no idea how you do it.
Because I remember you were the first person to start using the Carabin.
And like, I'm better.
And you started...
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, so you started using the Carabin, and at first I remember you struggled because it was new. It's a different gun. You have to play it differently. You have to have a different play style.
I was like, it's like the Shiva of snipers.
Yeah.
But it really is not. It's really freaking good.
Yeah, and then you got into it and you started using it more. And like, I remember I would be playing a game with you, and I think I'd be using like the Kar 98 or something like that.
And all of a sudden I'd have like,
you'd be getting headshots.
15 headshots.
Right. And I'm like,
and he's like, how is he doing this? I'm like, I don't know. I just started using it
with the Carabin, and then I started using it. I did awful the first couple games, and then I started getting the hang of the gun.
You get into it. It's fun.
And then all of a sudden I'm like, bam! I'm getting like 15 plus headshots every game too. And it's like, it's crazy.
And the snipers, that's the part. It's like they're not really hard. They're made to be like a simple, straightforward, good gun. And I mean, like, yeah, close range. Not very good. I mean, you have those people who try to quick scope, but like in this game so far, I haven't seen anybody who's really like, I'm gonna run at you with a sniper and quick scope you, because it's not how that game works.
Yeah.
Like, it's better and it's smarter in this game to use an SMG, to use an assault rifle, instead of using, you know, a sniper close range. Like, people in freaking Black Ops were like, okay, I'm going to get used to jumping, and then I'm just going to freaking, like, snipe you right in front of your face because I can quickscope you.
Yeah, this game is, like, really good with weapon balance. So maybe not, like, weapon balance. How would I describe that? Like, when you use a sniper, you use it at long range. When you're close up, you use an SMG or a shotgun. When you're at medium range, you use an assault rifle.
You could still use a sub at medium range, but you know that they're the best at that medium range. And like,
that's where most people like stay for the most part. You don't have people with a sniper running and rushing close up and using it like a shotgun. You don't have people with an SMG trying to snipe you from a distance, you know?
Which was the whack part. Like, I'd be playing with a sniper and I'd see somebody and all of a sudden I'd get hit with 3 bullets and I'm dead. And I'm like, okay. Like, they're not using the freaking, you know, they're not using the dredge or something. They're using the vector, and they get me from across the map.
Yeah.
Which, you know, it's okay, but it's like...
World War II just does a good job of keeping every, like, weapon class in a specific area of the map, basically.
Which, the fantastic part about it was war. They brought in this new game mode, war, and it's 100% objective. And they took off the kill death. Everything is that's gone. It's all just games. So people aren't going around running the map just trying to get kills. I mean, sure, it would be cool.
A lot of people still use it for camos for their guns.
Yeah, but
because it doesn't affect KD. But you still get a lot of people just because they're like, oh, if my KD doesn't count,
it's an objective.
I'll jump on this bridge and build the bridge. If I only get 3% and I get killed, whatever.
Who cares? You know? It doesn't matter.
Which that was awesome.
The best freaking part. And the great part is, you know, in all these maps, there's points where it's like, I'm going to use a sniper because this is what you need to use right here. Or I'm going to use the submachine gun. Or in the thing, there's like, or in one of the matches, there's 2 kinds of people that you need to have. You need to have one support unit where you're sniping, like in what's it called? Breakout. And the second objective with the bridge.
Somebody throwing smoke and building the bridge.
with, you know, your submachine gun. They normally don't have snipers because it's like, if I have a sniper and I'm running up there, and what if, like, I have it halfway built and somebody's jumping across the bridge? I can't take him out. Yeah. I can't do it. So you have a submachine gun or assault rifle, or you could even have a, you know, a light machine gun, which was it's still a little bit weird to use in that game mode, unless you're it's except at certain points. But for the most part, you know, you're keeping to your submachine gun and an assault rifle, and you would go forward to the bridge. And if you're better at like a sniping type thing, and you go and you stay back in the house and you take the people out that are trying to snipe you from across the map, like it's good. And they have the boundaries, you can't cross certain areas, and it just makes it work smoothly,
and it helps out teamwork and everything. War is definitely a great mode that I feel like they should bring back, and War would be perfect with a specific setting. Like, I'm sure they could make War work in like a futuristic setting like Black Ops 3, but it really just works with World War II.
Because it's like,
just there's something about it.
It's
just
war.
like,
it's real war. It's like, this happened.
It's like a mix of campaign and multiplayer. Like, multiplayer is kind of like a stupid little arena thing where you just go around and shoot everybody.
Team deathmatch. Let's just kill everybody that we can.
Yeah, but War is like, it has an objective. It feels like the campaign, but you're still in multiplayer. You're still fighting for it.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, you'll get like a game where you have bum teammates or the other team is just awful, and you go 40 and like 50 kills in a game, not in like the 2-game thing that it has, in like a single game, and you can get like 40 kills. And you have no idea how many deaths you had, and who cares? Yeah. The kill-death ratio doesn't count. But like, it was a fun game where you just went, you played, and you did good. Or sometimes you'll do bad. Maybe a lot of the time you'll do bad. Who cares? You get better at it. It's fun. I mean, all the newbies out there, War is hard at beginning. It's hard. We got the game right when it came out, so we were new with everyone. So it was a level playing field. Don't get discouraged, because it's really fun, especially once you get into it. Yeah. Play it. Get good at it. Know the maps. There's only 3 maps right now. I mean, of course, it's about to change.
Yeah, with the DLC.
But the 3 maps, you know, you got your Neptune operation, Breakout operation, and Griffin operation. They're easy, and you can figure them out within playing 1 or 2 games. So basically, you go into one match, and you play 2 games, and you figured out the map, you know? You've got the secure the outpost, then build the bridge, then plant the bomb on the ammo supply, and then escort the tank. Boom, there's Breakout. Griffin, you have
escort the tanks.
Escort the 3 tanks. You have to get 2 over. Then you have to get
the fuel for the tanks. You gotta get 3 of those.
Or, of course, on all this is defending as well on the second try or the first try. Yeah. And then the third thing was just escort the tank to the bridge.
Yeah. And then Neptune is secure the bunkers. Then after that, you destroy all the radio or communication equipment in the bunkers. And then the last one is destroy the turrets. You got to plant bombs on those.
3 bombs on each.
Yeah. So every map has different objectives, but they all just work so good. War is just it's my favorite mode in a long time. Like,
easily my favorite mode almost ever.
Yeah. That
I've ever played on multiplayer. Like, this is something I can play War for hours and not realize that I've played for hours. Like, it's a map that you can play a lot, because you get through one game and you're like, wow, that was intense. Wow, now I have to defend. Let's do this. And like, it can be hard. There can be games where you're going back and forth. Like, we'll win like the attack and lose the defense, or we'll win the defense and lose the attack, or we'll win both but like barely, or we'll lose both barely, and it's always frustrating. But it's like, it has to be hard. If it's too easy, it's not fun.
Yeah.
It's good. I love it, and it's been a fantastic game mode for my opinion, you know, for how the game is played.
So World War II in general, I feel like, has just been a really great game, returning to boots on the ground.
Oh yeah, fantastic.
It's done a lot of things right. And it's also returned to Call of Duty's roots, because Call of Duty started off as a World War II shooter, and then it moved into the modern era with Call of Duty 4.
Which was very good game.
That was
extremely good game.
That's really what set Call of Duty off, was Call of Duty 4. And then Treyarch went back with World at War. People were like, A lot of people stayed playing Call of Duty 4 because they're like, we've had
enough
we've
of
had
World War II.
And that's the thing about kind of the like gaming industry at the time was everybody was doing World War II at the time. Everybody.
Battlefield,
Medal of Honor,
so
many other like series were doing World War II, and then Call of Duty was like, boom, Modern Warfare, and they started doing Modern Warfare.
Set them up from everyone else.
Yeah, Treyarch did World at War, which was like a lot of people are like, okay, I'll play it.
Bounced back pretty dang well though.
Yeah, then Treyarch did Black Ops 1, which was like revolutionary because like no other game had done like Vietnam and the Cold War, which is perfect.
Oh yeah,
because it came after Modern Warfare 2, which we had Call of Duty 4, World at War, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1. So we had already had 2 modern games, and so people are like, oh, modern's really cool. But then Treyarch brought it back to the Cold War and Vietnam, and people are like, this is a really cool change of pace. Then they had Modern Warfare 3 back to modern, and then Treyarch went Black Ops 2, a little bit of futuristic, kind of bit of modern.
Yeah.
Kind of the one and the same. Ghosts went like pretty much purely modern. It was technically futuristic, but there was like nothing really about it that made it futuristic.
Just maybe a little bit advanced weaponry, but
yeah,
you know.
But Ghosts really, I think, is what kind of paved the way for the advanced movement games. Was that Ghosts was just at that point people had just had enough. They're like, Call of Duty it has nothing new anymore. With Ghosts, people are like, well, multiplayer is okay because. I mean, it's okay, but they're like, what's the difference between me playing Ghost multiplayer compared to me playing Call of Duty 4 multiplayer, Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer? Like, it was basically the same. I mean, granted...
It became bland.
Yeah, and so when Advanced Warfare came out, it was a revolutionary new, like, breath of life into the franchise.
It wasn't the greatest game ever, but it was like, it's new, this is cool. And then Black Ops 3 came out, and everyone was like, this is what we want in a futuristic game. This is a cool futuristic game. And then they came out with Infinite Warfare, and it was like...
By the time Infinite Warfare came out...
What did you do?
People didn't want Infinite Warfare. I remember before Infinite Warfare came out, when there was all those leaks and we're building up to the Call of Duty game, just like we're doing now, everyone was like, oh, Infinity Ward has to go back to World War II.
They have to go back to boots on the ground.
Plus, Battlefield...
Away from everything.
Was doing Battlefield 1. World War II... Or World War One, sorry.
Fantastic game. I loved that game. That's like one of the first Battlefield games that I'm like, better than Call of Duty. Better than Call of Duty. Which is kind of a heretic thing to say. Yeah. I'm a Call of Duty man. I'm a Call of Duty man through and through, but Battlefield 1 was a fantastic game, and it was ahead of the Call of Duty at the time.
Yeah. So Battlefield 1 was like revealed, and everyone was like, oh, this is so sick. And so everyone's like, well, Call of Duty has to do like World War II. That's the only way Call of Duty's gonna like compete with Battlefield this year, is if they do World War II. Because they'll be like, what do I want to play? World War I or World War II? Why not both? People would buy both games,
I mean, they could have gone back to World War I with them.
Yeah.
They could have done a whole different World War I type of deal. But it was something that, like, Battlefield was the first and only, and probably will be the only for a little while,
World War I
game. Because it's like, once we start getting back, it's like weird warfare where it's like not really what we're used to in a Call of Duty type of game. It's not a let's shoot you with a gun. You
didn't really
back.
With World War I. You didn't really have many. I mean, sure you had like pistols and submachine guns and assault rifles, but a lot of them were like semi-automatic assault rifles. You didn't have a whole lot of fully
normal rifle, not even an assault rifle, just a rifle. Where you have things like M1 Garand when that's in World War II is like the last type of deal that you have with just the rifle.
Yeah. So with Infinite Warfare, people were like, okay, this game has to be World War II or World War I. That's the only way it's going to compete. And then Infinity Ward revealed it to be Infinite Warfare, and people were like, okay.
Are you kidding?
They're like, I put up with Advanced Warfare. I bought it at first. I played it.
It was there.
Yeah, people, I mean, for the first bit, people loved Advanced Warfare, but then that game, people were like, yeah, no, I'm not a huge fan of the advanced movement.
Because it was cool. It was like, wow, this is advanced movement. You can jump around. This is a whack thing, but it's like really cool. And so they were doing it, and then people decided, okay, it was cool at first, but I'm deciding that I don't really like this.
They're like, it's too much like
it's too
Halo.
Much.
It doesn't feel like Call of Duty. And Treyarch scaled it back with Black Ops 3. They took Advanced Warfare, and they're like, okay, Advanced Warfare, you can jump like 40 feet in the air in a split second. Black Ops 3, they're like, you might be able to go 20, but you go like a whole lot slower. You got this thruster like repair like rate thing.
And there's maps that you can't jump over things.
Yeah.
And you can't quite get over buildings, which was kind of whack. But,
yeah,
it worked really good for not quite super futuristic and more like we're leveling out, putting it at a good standpoint where it's future, but it's not like we're going to have crazy things happening.
Yeah, so Black Ops 3 was a good way to tone down the advanced movement, but also keep the advanced movement. So it's not back to boots on the ground. You can definitely play a Black Ops 3 boots on the ground.
Oh yeah, you can. And it works. You can do it. And if you get used to being on the ground, you can follow somebody pretty well through the air.
Yeah.
Sniping, again, back to that, is hard in that game. It's doable. And if you get good at it, you can do it. But it's hard to get up to it. It's like something somebody told me once was skiing is easy to learn, hard to get really good at. Snowboarding is easy to learn, is hard to learn, but easy to get good at, right? So it's like that skiing where it's really hard to get into. I mean, it's easy to get into, but it's really hard to get really good at it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like snowboarding too, where it can be, if you're not used to sniping in general, like in the other games, it can be really hard to start, but it's still hard to get good at. Yeah. So it's not one of those things where it's like, crap. Like, most of the time, it's like snowboarding in like, especially World War II with sniping. Yeah. It's like, crap, I'm going to start sniping. I don't really want to. Sniping was hard in the other games. I wasn't good at it. You've got these people who are all like, I'm FaZe. I can snipe like a boss. That think they're all like the shiz. And then they come into this game and everyone can snipe because it's, people are like, crap, I don't want to do this. But then they start sniping and they're like, wow, I can snipe. Like, I can really snipe. And no one's fantastic, but it's easier and it's more like fluid. It's easy to transition into it from everything.
And with Infinite Warfare was basically, I felt like a huge knockoff to Black Ops 3 with the multiplayer and with the movement. With the movement, it was basically the same mechanics. You can wall run. You have this same like meter, this like movement meter, where once the meter runs out, you can't boost jump, and it was just about the same. You had specialists, basically, which I think they were called rigs in Advanced Warfare and stuff. You had weapons and abilities compared to specialist and specialist weapons and specialist abilities. And just overall, and they also copied the 3-lane design. Yeah. So Infinite Warfare was just like a knockoff of Black Ops 3 in a way, but it just didn't work. Treyarch knows what they're doing, and whatever they do it well. But when other companies like Infinity Ward try and do what Treyarch does,
they kind of screw it up.
Treyarch just knows what they're doing, so they can't do what Treyarch does.
They try to undercut them, but it's like it doesn't work out so well. It's like when people they think, "Oh my gosh, this was fantastic. I'm going to do something just like it." And then people are like, "We've seen this before. What are you doing?"
Yeah.
Just stop. And it's like, because Infinite Warfare was almost as smooth as Black Ops 3, but they were trying to be just, a little bit different, put something of their own in there, and it made like an Advanced Warfare Black Ops 3 mix. And people were like, we see that you're kind of doing both, and we don't like it.
It just didn't work out too well.
It just doesn't. And not a bad game.
Yeah.
Just not the right thing that they should have gone with.
Yeah.
I mean, they still could have done futuristic. By all means, they had this thing set to do 3 years of futuristic play. Mm-hmm. Just like how they had, 3 or 4 years of modern play. Mm-hmm. And they was pretty much set to do that. And they had the 3 set years and they went for it, and it didn't do so great at first, then it got pretty good, and then they kind of just fell away from what the people wanted. And I'm like, you could have still done a futuristic game, but you didn't have to make it like Black Ops 3 and Advanced Warfare. You could have made it like Black Ops 2, where it was technically futuristic, but it was boots on the ground and a really good game. You know, good, solid, all the way through game. But they took it a little bit too much and didn't really listen. And I think that's something that Treyarch does a lot better than the rest.
Yeah.
They listen to us as the viewers and you guys as the viewers. They listen, which is why we're, you know, so excited and pumped for this next game, you know, Black Ops 4, which is not technically, you know, set in stone that it's Black Ops 4, but we can...
and we'll talk about this a little, like Black Ops 4 specifically in a little bit, with the name and like with the series and stuff like that. But I feel like we had like the normal boots on the ground, like we had the modern era, then we had this jetpack era of 3 games of Advanced Warfare, Black Ops 3, and Infinite Warfare, and I feel like that era has kind of run its course. And now we're doing like, we went back to World War II, we're back to boots on the ground. And for Treyarch to go and do a futuristic game with advanced movement, I feel like just kills it. Because after like Advanced Warfare, halfway through that game's life cycle, people were like, no, I don't like this stuff anymore. And then Treyarch was like, well, here's Black Ops 3. It's still futuristic, it's still advanced movement, but we're going to scale it back for you guys. We know you don't like it too much. We can't change everything about this game, make it back to boots on the ground.
We can't do everything you want, but we have to try and do as much as we can.
Yeah.
Which they did.
Yeah, and then Infinite Warfare, I feel like, just didn't do anything.
Nope.
They were like, well, people really, they want back to boots on the ground.
We can't do that.
So let's just throw everything back on the table and just go boom.
And hope people finally figure out that they like this, but no one did.
And then after, because Sledgehammer made Advanced Warfare, and so they were the first developers to definitely see that people didn't really love the advanced movement. So they're like, oh, well, people don't really love it in Advanced Warfare. Our next game that we're going to start right away, we'll just go back to boots on the ground. So Sledgehammer was like, okay, boots on the ground. Treyarch, they saw from Advanced Warfare, halfway through the game's life cycle, couldn't do too much to change their game.
Because, you know, they're already mostly through making their game, and the, you know, everything about it with the advanced movements and the advanced weaponry and all these new things. And they're like, well, crap, we don't want to, you know, have all this stuff if people don't want it, but we can't change it, for one, because we have this set thing where we have to do a futuristic game, and two, because we've made this game, basically. And now what we're doing is we're refining and changing little things to try and make it better and the best that it can be. And so now they realize, you know, we gotta dial it back. We gotta dial it way back. You can't jump as high. The slides and everything is better, and which is actually something I really liked about the futuristic game was the G slide where you could slide. It was a new thing, but it was cool. And I was like, if they didn't have all the jumping, but they had the G slide and maybe wall running, it would work pretty good.
Yeah. So then Infinite Warfare was basically a knockoff, like we've said.
Yeah.
But I think futuristic Call of Duty games, the future era, the advanced movement era, I feel like that is going to be gone for a while. They could bring it back potentially in a couple of years or something.
I don't think it's like a bad thing. But I think it's something that's going to be a little bit they're going to stay away from it. It's
kind of a touchy subject right now. Yeah. They're like, okay, we might bring it back a little bit more, because the whole reason they did it was because Call of Duty was getting stale. Now people are like, we want back to what Call of Duty was before. So I just overall, Treyarch has to do boots on the ground, I would say. Or maybe a happy medium between Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 2.
I think that's the closest thing that they'll get to futuristic right now is if they do Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3 mix, where it's like boots on the ground like Black Ops 2
like you were saying, with the G-Slide and wall running. No jumping up in the air, but still, G-Slide, that would still work smooth and perfectly.
It made everything smooth. It was fantastic. I loved it. But, it just, when you add too much into it, when you put too much futuristic stuff into it, where you're like, we're going to have jumping like there's no gravity. We're going to have this and that. It's like you're taking too much of the real life playing out of it. You're taking it and you're making it like something that no one has any idea. Is there any sort of thing like that in the world today? No. Can you see somebody sliding? Yeah, I mean, we don't have G-slide in real life. We don't have wall running in real life, but you can see that more realistically than you can see like
jetpacks. Yeah. So, Black Ops 4, we've determined so far, what we talked about is that Mob of the Dead is going to be part of the season pass, and that it's going to be boots on the ground. So, next up, what I want to talk about, because it could be boots on the ground, it could be in the future, but still boots on the ground, like Black Ops 2 was, because Black Ops 2 took place in 2025.
Kind of futuristic, but mostly just like a little bit of more futuristic war technology.
Yeah, not movement. So, they could have it be in the future, just boots on the ground. They could have it in the past, like World War II, boots on the ground. They could have it Cold War, boots on the ground. Or they could have it modern, boots on the ground. Or, what Call of Duty hasn't touched on, is between Cold War and modern. But there's not too many like global conflicts that they could do. But at the same time, with Black Ops 2, that wasn't a realistic global conflict.
They could always do just some like made up
war,
spec ops, Black Ops type deal, because they could still call it Black Ops and have it like a SEAL team has to do some undercover classified mission that nobody knows, and that's like your campaign, and then you have a multiplayer that you can just make. Like, multiplayer isn't set off of anything.
Yeah, you can just multiplayer pretty much different than the campaign.
Oh yeah.
And so for Black Ops 2, for Black Ops 4, the setting could be really anywhere.
But right now it's real like all over the place, because we've had our future, we've had our modern, we have the past, and now we went back to the past because that's where the boots on the ground was really like the most secure and where everybody knows we love it. And especially when Battlefield went back to World War One, and they saw that Battlefield had this huge rush of people that wanted to play that game because it was back, and it was a new old, and it was good, is what people wanted. That's when they're like, okay, World War II, let's do it. And they went back to that secure thing, and I love it. I know a ton of other people love it, and I'm like, it's good where it is. So Black Ops 4 is like this unknown, but like we have little leaks and little teasers that we hope and think we can find, but like for the most part, it's really can be anywhere.
So this was posted on Reddit a couple of days ago, and I ended up posting a video about it, which I'll link on screen and in the description for you guys. So a weapons designer from Treyarch posted these images on a website, and he shared some of the weapons he's working on. So I'll show you and let you kind of scroll through and see what you think of these. There's a bunch of photos of it, but it's of a revolver pistol, and there's a lot of images of it.
Oh, there's new images with attachments and wow.
And just kind of what the weapon looks like, what this weapon's designed for. And one of them, there's like a poly picture or poly like shot of it, where that one's the one without the shaders. That one where you can see like all the like the curves and all the like little things about the like the weapon and stuff like that.
Like the actual design graphically.
Yeah, like the wireframe of the gun.
And they have like you can see in the site you can actually see part of like maybe a map.
Yeah.
But this doesn't look futuristic. It looks more of like a modern type. And I'm like,
and the gun in general looks pretty modern. Modern, maybe futuristic a little bit. It definitely is not old school like World War.
No, it's not. I mean, I actually love shooting like in real life, and this looks a lot like a gun that
the guy calls it an R8 revolver.
And it's a lot like a gun that I've actually physically used. They look really cool, and they're like slick and like a new revolver type deal, and it's a modern type gun, and this looks a lot like that, and I really like how this looks. it looks like a modern type deal, and not, futuristic. I mean, it could go futuristic.
Yeah, it could be
this.
futuristic, but with like Black Ops 3, a lot of the way the weapons are designed is a futuristic style. So you got weapons. I mean, you definitely have like super futuristic weapons, like the Ajax, where it prints ammo and it's like the super futuristic one. But even others, like the KN-44, it just has this futuristic look and design to it. This looks, it definitely has that same Treyarch feel. I mean, obviously, because this is from an official person who works at Treyarch, made this, but it doesn't look like that Black Ops 3, quite like that Black Ops 3 style
and
of weaponry.
It doesn't look like the World War II style where it's like, old, you got your wooden hand, wooden
like
grip and such, and it looks like it's all, either some type of, like, it's all metal or, how we have it now in realistic times with, like, what is it, like silicone or like some type of carbon fiber, like grip and such, where it's could be a little bit futuristic. So I think from these pictures, I would assume it's somewhere between modern and a little bit futuristic, which is kind of exciting, but at the same time, it's a pistol, and pistols normally, even futuristic looking pistols, can be kind of modern looking. So I really hope that this is like a Black Ops 2 to Black Ops 3 type deal.
Yeah.
But it could be a little bit futuristic.
Yeah.
Which, not saying it's bad, but we'll have to see. But I'm excited looking at these pictures of this revolver. It looks cool.
So, speaking of the setting, so this kind of like talks about the setting a little bit. So it's probably somewhere around modern. So the setting, if it's called Black Ops, we'll get into like the Black Ops, if it will actually be a Black Ops game. But for it to be Black Ops, if it's going to be a Black Ops 4, where would it take place? Right now we're going to talk about the setting. So it could be, I don't see them doing futuristic. That is, I say, completely out of the question. So it can't be advanced movement, so that means it can't be past Black Ops 3, and it can't be super close to Black Ops 3. So where could it be? It could be before Black Ops 1. It could be after Black Ops 1. It could be really close to before Black Ops 2. Or it could be after Black Ops 2. I don't see it being close to Black Ops 3. So if it is after Black Ops 2, the thing about that wouldn't really make sense.
Is it being called Black Ops 4?
Yeah, and it'd be between 2 and 3. And also, Black Ops 2, it has to fit the campaign. If it's going to be a Black Ops 4, it has to fit the campaign. I mean, actually, well, in a way, because Black Ops 3 didn't fit the campaign, and we'll talk about that in a second, why it was called Black Ops 3.
And it would be hard to do like an actual Black Ops 4 like after Black Ops 3, because there's so many endings you can have, so many different scenarios, and there's not, it's hard to like set something in stone like that after something like that, which is one of the things that we've actually talked about this. Yeah. I don't think it's going to be called Black Ops 4. I mean, it's going to be Black Ops 4, but it's going to be called something like Black Ops, like Spec Op Missions, something like Black Ops something. It's not going to be called Black Ops 4 because of the fact that if it's called Black Ops 4, it kind of has to go in order.
Yeah.
Like, they don't really do that. Like, even though, with Star Wars, they first made it 4, 5, 6. Then they made 1, 2, 3. But you never called it, you never called it anything else. And now that they're making new movies of it, like they're making the Han Solo movie, and they're making all these things, they have to call it Star Wars Rebels was that, that movie, because they had to go right there. And then Star Wars this and Star Wars that, because it's part of it, but it can't be before or after it's set like that, because it makes it.
Because you can't have like a Star Wars 3.5, that just doesn't work.
I mean, they did it with Lion King, but that was just a funny little thing,
So
going off topic a little bit there.
It could definitely still be in the Black Ops universe, which I'll read something in a second about it being in the Black Ops universe. But I don't see them calling it Black Ops 4. But it could be. I don't see them being it anywhere between Black Ops 2 and 3 because Black Ops 2 has so many endings where you can kill Menendez, you can have Menendez live, you can kill Karma, you can have Karma live, you can have Mason die, you can have Mason live.
In Black Ops 3, right?
In Black Ops 2.
In Black Ops 2?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You have so many different endings.
Yeah. Yeah, no, because of the... Yeah.
Because it's a branching story, which was amazing, and I really liked that. But the thing about that is that kind of screwed them for Black Ops 3. Because Treyarch...
They have to set it so far ahead.
Yeah. So unless Treyarch wanted to do something right after Black Ops 2, if they wanted to do that, they would have to pick an ending. Because, like, what? If you're going to have the same characters? Because Black Ops 1... Or Black Ops 2 had the same characters as Black Ops 1. It had Mason, it had Woods, it had Hudson, you know? Sure, it added some new characters, but it had those core Black Ops characters. But in Black Ops 2, you could have, like, all those characters could die. Or you could have, I mean, Hudson dies no matter what. But you could have Woods live, you could have Mason live. So, for Black Ops 3, they couldn't include those characters or have anything really connecting to Black Ops 2 because of the different endings of the story. Because Black Ops 2 has so many different endings, Treyarch would have to pick one ending and go with it. They would have to say, okay, Mason dies, that's it. Woods lives, that's it. Menendez dies, that's it. And
Which wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing.
Yeah.
But, like, it's kind of like nobody wants to force you into, like, this is actually what happened.
Because
come on, guys.
Some people probably wouldn't like how Treyarch does it. Because I feel like Treyarch...
always somebody who's not happy. Everybody likes it a certain way.
Yeah, and that's why Black Ops 2 had that way of the campaign.
And that's why they jumped with Black Ops 3.
Yeah, if you didn't want Mason to die, if you're like, Mason was such a good character, I really don't want him to die, you could save him. Yeah. So, it's like, you could adjust it with Black Ops 2, but the reason they have Black Ops 3 so far in the future is because they would have to pick one ending of Black Ops 2 and just go with it. And I feel like that's one reason why they have no real connections to Black Ops 2, other than they did mention Nova 6 in the campaign from Black Ops 1, and they also mentioned Menendez. Those were the two connections to Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 1.
Yeah, but like Menendez was the big part of Black Ops 2. And whether he dies or lives, who cares? It's like he was a part of history for Black Ops 3 characters, you know? Yeah. So they can mention him, but it doesn't really make a huge difference.
Yeah. But if they're going to have it at Black Ops 4, it can't be after Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3. It has to be, if it's going to be called 4, it has to be after 3, but that also contradicts with it being advanced movement. So what? Like, I guess they could do a Ghosts route and have, like, the world, like, destroyed and have you use, like, the current weaponry and stuff. And
so you have to pick it up and there's no futuristic stuff because things have been destroyed. And
yeah, they could go like that.
I don't really see that happening. That kind of screws things over.
Yeah, and I feel like that would just kind of be like a cheap way to have it be a Black Ops 4. But, I mean...
it's a possibility.
It makes sense because ultimately the name of the game comes down to Activision, and I feel like that's why Black Ops 3 was Black Ops 3. When Treyarch was making it, they were like, oh, well, we already wrapped up the Black Ops series with Black Ops 2 with the multiple endings and stuff. We wrapped it up pretty nicely, but Activision was like, you have to make this game Black Ops 3. You can't have it be anything else because Black Ops sells.
Yep.
People know the franchise. They know Black Ops.
Because it was fantastic and people loved it.
Just like how people know Modern Warfare. Like, there was a whole thing going down when Modern Warfare 2 was out that Infinity Ward wanted to call the game Modern Warfare 2. No Call of Duty, just Modern Warfare 2. Because Infinity Ward was like, people want Modern Warfare 2, but Activision was like, no, you have to call it Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. You can't just have it be Modern Warfare 2, because at that time, more people recognized the Modern Warfare kind of like sub-franchise of Call of Duty than they did of Call of Duty. And it's kind of the same thing with Black Ops, that they had to make it Black Ops 3 because Black Ops sells. People picked up Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 1 and they're like, oh, these games are fantastic. then, they're walking through a Best Buy or something, and they see Black Ops 3 on the shelf, and they're like, oh, Black Ops 3. I liked Black Ops 1 or Black Ops 2.
Might as well try it out or go look it up.
Yeah. So, Black Ops sells. So, I definitely think it's going to be in the Black Ops universe. So, now, if I can find it. It just has to be in the Black Ops universe.
Which was why I was thinking it's got to be called something like Black Ops something. Because it's like, it would be hard to fit it after 3, but, like, get what the people want and put it boots on the ground.
Yeah.
Without making it awkward and weird, like, transition-wise. But they can't put it after 2 unless they change something. They would have to make it Black Ops 2. Because if they call it Black Ops, they have to put either the same... They have to set a storyline, or they have to call it, like, Black Ops, Ghost Recon, something like, because they've already had a Ghost Recon, but, like, if they have Black Ops something, they can put it in there and have another group.
They can have it anywhere in the timeline.
Anywhere they want. They can have it at the exact same time as Black Ops 2 from a different side. Mm-hmm. They could, for goodness sake, they could have a Afghani war. Yeah. And say that it's Black Ops, in between Black Ops 1 and in between Black Ops 2 or something. Mm-hmm. And they could have modern weaponry.
Yeah.
And it could be a modern game. It could be either, like, I think it's cool to go back in time, to go to World War II and stuff, but even a modern game would put it as if they were, they could do back to old time stuff.
They could have
modern
stuff like they did in Black Ops 2.
Oh yeah, and it was fun. I loved the flashback parts because it was back to what Black Ops 1 was. Mm-hmm. And then they came up to Black Ops 2 and they're like, this is what Black Ops 2 is. And this is really cool, and we're transitioning into it, and it transitioned fantastic. Yeah. I loved it. And so that's why I think that they're going to have to make it a Black Ops something.
Yeah. I definitely think it's going to be a Black Ops, like, series and Black Ops universe game.
It sells.
They're going to have Black Ops in the name because it sells.
Oh, yeah.
And because people recognize the brand. But I doubt it's going to be Black Ops 4 because that means it has to be, like, after Black Ops 3. So it's going to be, like, Black Ops something. Black Ops Secret Warfare or something like that.
Yeah, I wish we could come up with something that sounded really cool and be like, yo, Treyarch, use our name, put us on the label or something. But, like, it's like, it can't be, I just don't feel like it can be a Black Ops 4. I mean, we're going over this name over and over and over and reiterating ourselves, but it's like, why they can't make it Black Ops 4 without, like, putting it in a place where nobody wants it to be.
Yeah.
Because it's either another futuristic game, which everyone knows that they've kind of crashed and burned with it. I mean, like, it was okay, but it wasn't the highlight of the Call of Duty franchise. And they can't really put it in the world of Black Ops because it's been wrapped up really nicely.
Yeah.
But they can't change it from Black Ops because that's Treyarch's thing and that sells really well, and they want it to do really well. And, like, they could make a complete new set of games, like a complete new trilogy. And every single time they do that, when they went to Modern Warfare, and then when they went to Black Ops, they're taking a little bit of a step, just like a
down.
We'll see. Like, we're gonna take a little bit down to see if it'll, like, rocket our stuff up. And they were really, on point and lucky, and not even lucky, just, like, skilled
with Black Ops.
With Black Ops and with Modern Warfare. And then once they did Advanced Warfare,
because we've had
Infinite
a bunch
Warfare,
of different...
they're just out there. Like, what is that?
Yeah, because, like, we've had in, like, the modern era of Call of Duty games, which, when we talk about that, it's Call of Duty 4 onward is, like, the modern era. Not, like, modern era, because that would be, like, the Modern Warfare games, but in, like, the past, like, years of Call of Duty, we've had kind of spin-off games, which was World at War, which World at War tied into Black Ops 1 with, like, Reznov and other characters and stuff.
Which it was supposed to.
But it wasn't, like, Black Ops, It
It
wasn't...
was supposed to change Call of Duty into Black Ops. That's what it did.
So, World at War was kind of like a connection to it, but it was also kind of its own thing. And that's the same way with Infinite Warfare. Infinite Warfare is its own thing, but it also has a lot of connections to the Modern Warfare series. So World at War and Infinite Warfare hook into Black Ops and the Modern Warfare franchises, but then you got games like Advanced Warfare and Ghosts that are just completely different.
Where the frick did this come from?
They're just in different universes.
And it's like, that's why I think that's one of the reasons they made it Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, was they're trying to transition it. It's all about the transition into the new games. Because if they just called it Modern Warfare 1, it's like, where did this come from?
Yeah, people.
That's why they did
what?
World at War. Because it's like, they're like, okay, another kind of, back their game. And, there's some new stuff in this. This is interesting. I mean, not my favorite game, but it's pretty cool. It's a good game. And then they come out with Black Ops 1, and they're like, now I see the transition. Because, I mean, it's still completely different. But once you get into it and you start playing it, you recognize things back from World at War and Call of Duty. And it's like, okay, I see how they did this. They transitioned it into this, which makes it easier for them to sell into the first game and get everybody sold so that they're all like, I like this. This is what I want. And then Black Ops went with it, and Black Ops is probably, if not, their biggest Call of Duty brand franchise. And it worked really freaking well. And Modern Warfare is up there with them, but Black Ops just, it came out ahead. And not necessarily just me saying that. I think it did. But
also the sales
it's
figures
proved with the sales figures and everything.
Yeah, that the Black Ops franchise has sold more than the Modern Warfare. And so I have a quote here. This is from an article that IGN posted clear back in 2015 when Black Ops 3 was coming out. Black Ops 3 wasn't out yet, but it was around this time of year where Black Ops, the next Call of Duty game, is being talked about and teased, and eventually it was revealed that it was Black Ops 3, and the developers start talking about it and stuff. So this was from Jason Blundell. He's the guy he's the director of Zombies and Campaign at Treyarch. And he said, we had multiple stories at the end of Black Ops 2, and people had different outcomes. Then we kind of picked an idea, and that kind of connected into Black Ops 3. I'll leave that mysterious. But the end of Black Ops, here's the thing. There's always stories to be told. One guy asked me if we were going to keep going into the future, but the point is that there are always stories to be told. That could be the future, that could be the past. This one had to be future-based for us because there was always a key idea. The first one was Man Corrupts Man. Victor Reznov corrupts Alex Mason. The second one was Man Corrupts Machine, Raul Menendez taking the drones. Then this one is Machine Corrupts Machine. So it was really an arc of thought. I don't see there being an end because, like I said earlier, Black Ops always has been stories about people. That's infinite. You can tell so many different stories, and they can come from the past, the future, or wherever you want. So in the middle of that article, he says, but at the end of Black Ops, here's the thing. There's always stories to be told. So I feel like even back then, they already had the setting, and they already had a lot of Black Ops 3 made, and so they were kind of thinking about, okay, what are we going to do next for Call of Duty? So I feel like when he was talking about
there always be a new Black Ops is what he's saying. Because Black Ops wasn't about Alex Mason, and wasn't about all of these main characters that you had in Black Ops 1 to Black Ops 2. It's about this concept. And, I mean, most of us probably wouldn't pick up on the man corrupts man, technology corrupts man, and then machine corrupts machine. We probably wouldn't pick up on that initially, but the point that he's trying to get across is, it's not, a set storyline. It's a set franchise. This is, an idea we try to pass. Yeah. And, they could always come up with, as he said, an infinite amount of Black Ops type games. Maybe it won't even be called Black Ops. Yeah. Maybe it'll be called Special Ops something or something like that. It could completely change, but it's the storyline with Black Ops. it's not about the storyline. It's about the ideal, which is why they can always make another one, which is also why we still think it's going to be called Black Ops something.
Yeah. So, Black Ops something between, I would put money between Black Ops 1 and 2 is probably where it's going to be. Anywhere between those games, because that works. Oh, something, okay, a key piece of news is that the guy who plays and voice actors Frank Woods, crap, I don't remember his name right now, but, I don't know, I'm trying to think of his name, I can't remember, but the guy who voices Woods in the Black Ops series, he has confirmed that he says that he doesn't have a role in the next Call of Duty game, but at the same time, he could be lying. There's nothing to stop him from saying that, you know?
Who knows?
He could just be saying that, because this guy, he's basically like one of us. He's a fan of Call of Duty, he loves speculating on it, he loves talking about news and leaks and rumors and stuff on it, and before Black Ops 3 came out, he was saying all these things. I posted tons of videos of just what this guy has said, this Frank Woods guy, what he has talked about with, in one video he posted, he's like, yeah, I got some news coming up on the next Black Ops game. And he's like, oh, not the next Black Ops game, the next Call of Duty game. And that was after Black Ops 2, so people are like, oh, so we just confirmed Black Ops 3. But, I mean, Woods wasn't in Black Ops 3 at all. The voice actor wasn't in it at all, so...
He's got some inside looks, apparently.
Yeah. So, with him saying that he doesn't have a role in the next Black Ops game...
I'd assume he's telling the truth in that part.
Yeah.
But him being able to tell you anything like that makes us think that it's Black Ops.
Yeah.
You know? We keep going into this. There's all this stuff that tells you it's going to be Black Ops. We just don't know exactly what it's going to be. We don't know what it's going to be exactly called. It could be Black Ops 4, but it, like, as we've said, we don't think it's going to be Black Ops 4. It's going to be Black Ops something. It's like we can't give any specific detailed fact that it's going to be this, but we're like very, very sure that it's not going to be something else. It's going to be Black Ops. Like, we are for sure it's a Black Ops game. Now, let me tell you, if we're wrong, I'd be very, very surprised.
Yeah.
I mean, unless it's a completely new ideal that they're coming out with, like a complete new, you know, they had Modern Warfare, and then they had Black Ops, and they had Call of Duty, just the normal things. If they came out with a completely new one, that I could see. But if they came out with something like another Infinite Warfare type deal, another, like, after Black Ops 4, if they came out with even Black Ops 4, I'd be very surprised.
Yeah. And we could talk about that in maybe another video or another podcast, like, if it will be that, and, like, I don't know, maybe that'd be fun, making, like, bets on what it's going to be. You're, like, you know, like...
Always good to make bets.
Or, you know, maybe, like, a challenge video, you know? Like, hey, if it is Black Ops 4, then I'll...
Jump in the frozen lake?
Yeah, I'll do something, you know?
That would freaking suck.
I am almost positive that it's not going to be Black Ops 4, but it's going to be a Black Ops game. And
so that's something we agree on, but who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, so
it's gonna be fun to find out. Like, it's what we're watching right now is just the little things that they can pop in. Like when Black Ops 3 was coming out, he showed me all sorts of videos that teased on little zombies things, little campaign things. Showed me all sorts of videos that it was just like a video that's like, this is the new game that's coming out, yada yada yada, and it would just like go through game clip and they were talking about something, and then pause the picture. Look at this. This is something that you can see just in the background. This is a huge teaser, and that nobody realizes until you take time out and you just look at this one frame.
Yeah. So speaking of that, this new Call of Duty game is going to be revealed sometime around April or May. That's when they always reveal Call of Duty games and announce them. Typically it's been like the first week of May, But with like Black Ops 3, I think with Infinite Warfare, and I think with World War II, we started getting them earlier. I'm pretty sure World War II, we got some leaks for World War II at around the end of March.
Although, World War II, after Infinite Warfare, after Black Ops 3, we were pretty sure it was going to be like World War II. Mm-hmm. But Infinite Warfare happened, and everyone was certain that it was going to be something different.
Yeah.
It was not going to be flying around all over the place. So, fingers crossed, though, it's not going to be flying around with jetpacks or exosuits, which, it was all cool, but I think it's time to hang that hat up and, put on a new thing, or pick up an older hat, and go with that. Because there's always something good in Black Ops, and there's been something good in Modern Warfare. When we started getting into the odd name where we don't see any connection, Advanced Warfare, Ghosts, and Infinite Warfare, even though it has a little bit connection back, it starts getting into like, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. We don't get the connection. This isn't a Call of Duty game. This is you trying to do something that isn't your franchise. It's not what your fan base is like completely around. We're with you. We'll stick with you, but there comes a point where you need to stop. If they didn't come out with World War II, I can guarantee you, loads of people would have been done with Call of Duty.
Yep. World War II brought a lot of people back.
And, even with Infinite Warfare, a lot of people left. And World War II, almost every single one of them came back.
Yep.
It's been a fantastic game. Back to boots on the ground. Back to hard working, playing the game like how it was used to be, how it was meant to be, like a Call of Duty war game. Like a first-person shooter instead of a let's jump around and play I'm high on acid. It's not going to be a sensory overload. It's going to be something that we all can relate to. Like, that's one of the things that I can't reiterate enough is World War II. We can all relate to it. You can go onto the internet or read in any freaking book you want about all sorts of things about World War II. Mm-hmm. You can read about Modern Warfare. They come out all the time with new classified stuff about Modern Warfare. They just came out with the movie 12 Strong, which is about, the 12 men that went over into Afghanistan, right?
Yep.
Right after
9/11.
9/11. And they went in and they did, it was a really good movie. And it was all about those 12 men who joined with some of the rebel soldiers against not ISIS.
Against the Taliban.
Against the Taliban. There we go. Al-Qaeda. And against Bin Laden. Mm-hmm. And that's what's coming out. We've got stuff all about this modern stuff. And that's why Modern Warfare worked so good. And that's why Black Ops worked so good. Is because it was stuff that we could be around. And that's why World War II games were around for a long time. For a really long time. With everyone. Battlefield, you had Medal of Honor right before you had Call of Duty. And then, then Call of Duty. And all these, franchises are playing World War II. Because it's something that people know. And they can, be a part of. And that's why they're going to come back from all this stuff that everyone's like, I don't know. If we actually start getting things like exosuits and stuff that we use in real life war, which I can tell you, we're not very close to any of that stuff. Yeah. In actuality, we are not. We get new technology every single day for war. Mm. I have a buddy who was just in the military and just got out, and he's only 24 years old, and he's told me all sorts of things that he's used, all sorts of weapons that I've never even heard of something like that. Yeah. And he's like, we used them in the military, and guarantee you, sooner rather than later, they're going to be part of our actual life. But it's not crazy things like a gun that shoots a disc. That's not a thing. But it's still new technology that comes out all the time. But it's it's modern enough that you can believe it, that you can see it, that you can touch it, you can imagine it in your head. Things that you can just come up with, not things that you can come up with that would happen like while you're in a dream.
Yeah.
Which is what freaking Advanced Warfare and Infinite Warfare were.
Yeah. So, with Black Ops, this new Call of Duty game, it's going to be revealed sometime around April, end of April. It's absolutely going to be revealed by May. By the time May rolls around, it's going to be... We're already going to like know the name. We're already know tons of details about it. But I would say this game is going to start being like hardcore teased probably in about a month's time. About probably halfway through March.
Well, I freaking hope. I want to see everything that there possibly is on this game. Because this actually has got me super excited. Once World War II was teased at all, I knew exactly what it was. Mm-hmm. Like, as soon as they teased it, everyone was like, praise the Lord. It was like, thank goodness we have a game that we want coming back. We have war again. We don't have some weird thing going on. And that's what I'm looking forward to for these new teasers. As soon as we find out, and as soon as we get to look at these, new videos and any leaks that we can possibly get, I'm really hoping for the same kind of feeling that I got when I found out that it was going to be a World War II type of game. I'm hoping for that modern or World War II type of game again, because it's like, that's where like my heart lies, is in that type of game. Like, that's what makes me like happy. That's what gets me going for that type of game. That's what I love to play. Like, when Ghosts and all these newer games started coming out, I stopped playing Xbox for like a long time. Like, I played mostly just when I was with him. That's it. But then they started coming out. But when Black Ops 3 came out, I played a little bit more. I liked the game. And then they came out with more of the newer stuff again. I kind of stopped playing. They brought Black Ops 2. And then they brought Chronicles up into Black Ops 3. And now I started playing a lot more again. When they started adding these things back to the still older games, but things that made them way better. And now they brought back World War II, and I play more games right now than I have in years because of this. And it's fun, and I don't play too much anymore because, now we have jobs. Yeah. We're adults now. We're not kids anymore. We can't just play. But now I want to play.
Yeah.
That's what I was always looking for, was that want to play. And that's what I'm looking for this next game, is the want to know and play this game.
Yeah, so this game is going to be revealed soon, and Call of Duty, maybe not always, but lately it's been having a huge marketing campaign where Activision invests so much money. I don't remember if it was Black Ops 3 or what game it was, but actually I think it was like Destiny or something. Or anyways, at one point Activision forked over $500 million in just like advertising for one of their games.
That's how you do it, though.
I think it might have been Black Ops 3.
Probably.
That they forked over so much money in just advertising this new game. And so for Black Ops 3, how they teased Black Ops 3. So at first, we started getting some leaks and some news and stuff like we are getting right now. Mm-hmm. But then the official kind of floodgates opened when Treyarch they put out a patch for Black Ops 2. Do you remember this? They put out a patch for Black Ops 2, and they added the Call of Duty Snapchat, the Snapchat code thing. What do you call that? Just the ghost or whatever, onto 2 Black Ops 2 maps. They added it onto Express, and they added it onto, is that Plaza? I think it's Plaza. And they added the Snapchat Ghost on there, and they put out just an update. Like, Black Ops 2 hadn't been updated in a while because Ghosts was out, Advanced Warfare was out.
Then they put the updates on Black Ops 2, and that's when you figured out.
You're like, oh, wait, they're teasing Black Ops 3 because
Black Ops
at
3.
that point, Treyarch, they hadn't put out an update for Black Ops 2 because Black Ops 2 had already been out 2 years at that point, and almost 3 years at that point. Mm-hmm. And so an update came out for it, and I think the official patch notes for the update were just like security fixes and a little bit of bug fixes and stuff like that. And people were like, wait,
you don't have bug fixes after the new game comes out. Like, that's
Yeah.
not a thing.
Yeah.
Like, the most that they have is, like, if there's another DLC that's just not quite out yet, like, they have another month to go until they're supposed to release it. I mean, they've got all this stuff, but they're
Yeah.
supposed to release it in a month. They
Like,
have
the
to do this
only-
in a timely way.
The only things that they would change and that they've done like around there was that in Modern Warfare 3, they changed Modern Warfare 3 when you start up, like the like message of the day or whatever. They changed that and they added a new one in advertising Advanced Warfare. Advanced Warfare came out in 2014. Modern Warfare 3 came out in 2011. So they went back into this old game to advertise this new one.
And that's
So
what they did with Black Ops 2
Yeah.
for Black Ops 3. And even for Chronicles when Black Ops
Yeah. So they
Chronicles.
don't, yeah, like they advertise Chronicles in
on
Black Ops 2. And so, I mean, they did have that whole thing years ago with Modern Warfare 2 where there was a picture of, I think it was some Islamic something in a Modern Warfare 2 map. It might have been Favela or something. I don't remember the exact map or the exact, like, all the details, but all I remember was that there was some, like, religious, I'm pretty sure it was some Islamic thing in one of these maps, but it was in a bathroom in one of the Call of Duty multiplayer maps. And so, years after Modern Warfare 2 is out, somebody saw it and they made a big deal about it on, like, Twitter or something, and Activision's like, oh, crap. So they made Infinity Ward go back to Modern Warfare 2, like, 5 or 6 years after Modern Warfare 2 came out, and removed that from the map. So, years and years after, but that's like a rare occasion. That's because this was like a bad, like, press and bad PR.
Yeah, this is something that they, like, completely don't want. You're like, oh!
So,
Little
but there
whoopsie
is,
moment.
they do on occasion go back to old Call of Duty games to add stuff in. So with that, for them to go back to Black Ops 2 and to put out an update, which at that point, most developers had gotten rid of their Xbox 360 dev kits because, I mean, the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 came out with Call of Duty Ghosts.
And they weren't backwards compatible. There was no backwards
Yeah.
compatibility at all. There was no intention on making the 360 be connected to the One,
Yeah. And so
which was something that I didn't like,
the
by
Ghosts, like, life cycle that year of 2013 to 2014, most people still had an Xbox 360. They still had a PlayStation 3. They might have bought a new console, but they probably had both, or they probably still had the old one.
I still have the old one. That's how I worked.
Yeah, 2014 to 2015 with the Advanced Warfare life cycle, that's when a lot of people upgraded. That's when I upgraded, was a couple months after Advanced Warfare came out. I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy an Xbox One now.
Yeah, and I was still a 360 guy. I was like, I don't know. And that's actually when I first played Advanced Warfare, was when he got his Xbox One, and we both played it. I kind of liked it, but I was like, yeah, this isn't really what I'm looking for. I'm going to stick with my 360 because this is
play
what
Black Ops 2.
I wanted to play. Black Ops 2, that was what I really liked. And that's why I was still playing at that time.
Yeah. So, for them to, after over 2 years of the game being out, like, sure, during Ghost life cycle, Treyarch put out those new camos. They put out the comics camo, put out the Afterlife camo. Was it Afterlife? Maybe. They put out the UK camo and I think like the Dead Man's Hand camo.
Yeah.
They put out some new camos, which was the first time that a Call of Duty developer went back during the next Call of Duty's life cycle and added content to the previous game. And that was because at that point more people were playing Black Ops 2 than Ghosts.
Oh, yeah.
And so it made sense for them to put in more DLC into Black Ops 2 so they could make more money. And so that was the first time they ever did that. And so
And that was
Treyarch,
easy to see the transition
Yeah.
from Black Ops 2 to Black Ops 3.
yeah, Treyarch kind of, they still put out some updates for Black Ops 2 throughout Ghost lifecycle. For the most part, their patches, their weapon updates, all those things ended when Ghost came out. They put out a couple bug fixes during Ghost lifecycle, but basically when Ghosts was up and it was Advanced Warfare's turn, Treyarch was done. There was no more patches, no more updates.
Time to go and mod it up.
Yeah, and then for Treyarch in, I think it was May or April of 2015, for them to put out an update for Black Ops 2 was very suspicious. And I specifically remember when that came out that within, I think it was within a half hour to an hour of that update being out, another YouTuber, Drifter, he posted a video teasing Black Ops 3 of him going onto the map, finding the Snapchat code, and making a video about it. Within a half hour to an hour of the patch being out.
That's quick. That's really fast.
And so many people, including myself, have suspicions about that because that was right after Call of Duty, I think it was COD Champs for Advanced Warfare, and David Vonderhaar, a bunch of the guys from Treyarch were there at the, like, you know, Call of Duty professional, like, World Series event, and Drifter talked with David Vonderhaar. He talked with him at the event, and so a lot of people are saying, like, oh, well, obviously Treyarch told these YouTubers about this. They're like, hey, watch out for this update coming out to Black Ops 2 in a week. We're going to tease this. Because Drifter, like, his story was that he decided that day he was going to stop playing Advanced Warfare. He was going to boot up Black Ops 2. So he was going to go from his PlayStation, or I think he was on Xbox at the time. He was going to stop playing Advanced Warfare on his Xbox One, go over to his 360, play it, was going to get onto Express, the very first game he played. He got onto Express, and he walked over to that specific spot in the map with the Snapchat code, which it's not even in part of the map, technically, where in Express, it was down kind of by the elevator, kind of where not B, Domination. It's where I think B bomb site in like Demolition and Search and Destroy is over there. It's out of the map, but it replaced one of the posters, but the poster is still there. It's just like the model or whatever in the poster was replaced with a Snapchat ghost. And he allegedly just saw it and noticed that it was different. I don't believe that. I mean, it could be true that he was playing it, but I feel like that's too much coincidence that within a half hour of the update coming out, update going out, him downloading the update, playing Black Ops 2, going onto the specific map, and finding that Snapchat ghost. I mean, anyways, that doesn't really have much to do with anything. It doesn't really matter.
All of the millions of people who play, I mean, it could have been, but it's like, it's a big YouTuber that finds it.
Yeah. And
chances
talked
of
with Treyarch the weekend before. I don't think so. But anyways, the point is that Treyarch teased Black Ops 3 through Black Ops 2. They posted the Snapchats, and I think the Snapchats were only there for about a week. And then Treyarch put out like a hot fix that removed them from that. So now if you go onto Black Ops 2, you won't find the Snapchat ghosts. You'll find the maps just like you would find them clear back in 2013 or 2012. You know? They're not there anymore. Treyarch had that for about a week. And you could add that Snapchat ghost. And then Treyarch put out a couple things on their story where they put out some teasers of like Dr. Salim and the Frozen Forest and a bunch of things like that. And then eventually, the message of the day for Black Ops 2 at one point was like this tree in like a forest or something like that. And you had to take that image, you had to put it in Photoshop, you had to like invert the colors and change like the contrast all the way up and like diminish the hue or something like that. And it would show, I think it's the Black Ops like multiplayer team, their emblem. I think that's what it was. And it showed something like secret in that image. Which that's another thing that I'm like, I feel like Treyarch tipped off these YouTubers about.
Because who would do that?
Yeah, who would just see that?
Invert the colors.
Yeah, who would take... Because it's just a message of the day, and it was like...
A tree.
Yeah, and it was like... I think the actual message was like, it's coming, or something like that.
It's coming!
And so for someone to be like,
this is funky.
I'm going to take a screenshot of this, I'm going to throw it in Photoshop, and I'm going to mess with the colors. Oh, hey, it happens to show the secret image.
I mean, they could have... But it makes it a little... And especially with how soon the things happen, and how close it is to when they threw the teasers in.
Yeah.
It's a little iffy. But, nonetheless, it doesn't change that they threw in things to tease off the new Black Ops game.
Yeah, in the old one.
In the old game, after they had, a bunch of new games already out.
Yeah, so Activision used this used the Snapchat and the way to tease Black Ops 3 as a way to promote their Snapchat. Now their Snapchat is used for CWL, Call of Duty World League, and professional events. So if there's a Call of Duty tournament going on that weekend and you look at Call of Duty Snapchat story, it's going to be about that event. Mm-hmm. They posted some things about World War II on there, but mostly the Black Ops 3 teasers were just a way for them to basically get traction on their Snapchat. Because that's when Activision created the Call of Duty Snapchat. And that's kind of when Snapchat started blowing up. It was around 2015 or so.
Yeah, Snapchat was starting to get there.
So it was a good way for them to do it. I don't think that they'll do Snapchat again for Black Ops 4.
Probably not.
I don't know if they would do it on like their Twitter or something like that, but I could definitely see them just doing it in-game, kind of like they did with Infinite Warfare. I'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
But they also had a fake news Twitter account, which was like some futuristic news station or something like that.
Yeah.
Started tweeting out a bunch of news about Black Ops 3. So it was like, oh, the dead systems have shot down this plane or something like that. And there was also like this whole real world like thing that went down because this Twitter account, or no, the Call of Duty account also changed its name and its profile and everything to be a news source. And then they tweeted out that there was like a terrorist attack or a bombing or something, and I think Shanghai or something like that. And a lot of people thought it was real. Because, and so it was like, it was this like kind of big mess, and it was like a big no-no, because it's like, why would you, they like pretended for this like bomb threat or terrorist attack or whatever. So anyways, I feel like Activision learned from that and won't do that again. But
maybe they won't. Who knows? People are stupid sometimes.
Yeah. But for Infinite Warfare, the way they teased that game was they teased it in Black Ops 3 with in Nuketown. Yeah. Where if you ended the game of Nuketown, you would see this spaceship from Advanced Warfare show up in the ending like thing, and then it would like blow up the map or something like that. Yeah. And then also on the wall run side of the map, those monitors, they changed those to some like Infinite Warfare things. Mm-hmm. So it's possible that they would do that again, but I don't think that they would do that same thing on Nuketown. Yeah. So, but I definitely believe that they will do something in the newest game. For World War II, how they teased that game and kind of built up hype for it was that they had Sledgehammer introduced World War II weapons in Advanced Warfare. They introduced World War II DLC weapons. They introduced like the MP40 and other things like that into Advanced Warfare. In Black Ops 3, they started adding in some of these old school weapons. They started adding in like the Galil, the FFAR, some of these old school weapons, you know?
Yeah, what is that, the FAMAS?
Yeah. You know, kind of teasing, oh, we're going back to the old school things, and then in Infinite Warfare, they added in a bunch of World War II guns, but like Infinite Warfareized. Yeah. So that's how they teased World War II, was putting all these World War II era guns in these new Call of Duty games. So what are we going to have for Black Ops 4 this year? I don't know. I don't think they're going to do the same guns route, adding in guns. Because obviously in World War II, they can't add in like modern guns, or else that would kind of throw off the game.
It's like, what?
I don't think that they're going to tease on Nuketown again with those things. Would they still do Black Ops 3? Would they tease in Black Ops 3? I don't know. I could see them teasing in World War II somehow. Maybe in the headquarters. I could definitely see them doing that.
Headquarters is a big thing where, you know, they've switched it from just the regular, then they go to the winter, then back to regular, and then the resistance again. Yeah. Then they're going to end resistance soon, go back into regular, and then it'll be something else probably in about a month. And I could really see that them, once they switch it into a new thing, whatever they switch it into, they could switch it into something like, I don't know.
They could have a
like Eastern deal, you know, something like Middle Eastern, like make it like that, and then
or they have the AA gun event.
Yeah, that AA gun event. They could
change that somehow and incorporate that, because they barely kind of like, they had that in the game technically since the game's launch, but it's barely kind of starting to roll around in the game, and finally people are actually able to do it. So I think that
I still don't even know how to do it.
Yeah, on just occasion, it'll show up in the headquarters, and you'll be able to shoot down the planes and capture care packages. But I think the headquarters is really where they're going to tease this next Call of Duty
because they had those glow or the balls that you had to go find, and those were kind of hard, but
they changed them to a snow globe for Winter Siege. They could change it to something for Black Ops 4.
That could totally change it. Maybe it'll be like a I don't know, like something how like Uplink was when it was like that glowing ball.
Yep.
They could change it to something where it's like
they could change it to like a zombie's
like
head,
a ball, like a zombie's head,
to tease like Black Ops 4 zombies or something like that.
Or maybe it could be a ball, and on it, like you can't really see, you won't really notice it. But if you were like to stop and to look at it, it could have something on it, like maybe it says B and then it has like 04, like in like orange letters, where it's like actually saying something completely different.
Yeah,
like
the care package
Battle
event.
of something.
Yeah. With the care package event, you could shoot down like a modern plane or something like that, where they change some of the planes that fly over and you shoot down to like a modern jet or something like that. I don't know, something like that.
Something cool. And I really think that I agree. That's totally where they could do it, and it would work, and they could put it in a way that no one would really notice, or that everyone would notice, but just think, oh, that's a cool thing that they're doing, and then little by little, some people would figure it out. Yeah, this is a teaser. This is something. Yeah. They're telling us that they're going to do a modern game, or they're telling us that they're going to do this. So things that we're looking forward to. We'll be skeptical and criticize every little thing.
More news and more details and stuff are going to be coming out soon. Like I said, in about a month, in about March is when we're starting to really getting a lot of leaks, a whole lot more news. But up until then, we're just going to be speculating a whole lot, like kind of we're doing now.
Yeah.
But
probably be a whole lot of things that we're wrong with, a whole lot of things that we've kind of, partially been right towards. But, like, how else does it go? It's going to go like this for everyone.
Yeah. So, for about the next month, this is what we're going to do. Keep on talking about some more things like this. If there's any more leaks and stuff, like those pictures of the guns, like I showed you. Any things like that, we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about more things like that, more things, our predictions and stuff, maybe some more about zombies.
Yeah, it probably won't be every single week, because it's not going to happen every single week from now until then. We probably will, I'm betting we'll get back into this probably in about 2 or 3 weeks, maybe 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Probably a little bit longer. Like at the shortest, it should be 3 weeks. But I'm thinking about a month, so 4 weeks.
In a month from now, we're going to get a whole lot more details.
Oh, yeah.
And then about a month from then, we're going to get like the official reveal and the official like tease. And so I can't wait for this. I'm really excited for this new Call of Duty game. I'm really excited for this podcast. So
this has been something we've been talking about for a little while, and we've been excited to get this going. And I've been excited to be a part of this kid's freaking YouTube career.
Yeah,
this has been fun.
Yeah, there you guys go. If you guys have enjoyed this podcast, be sure you give the video a thumbs up. If you guys want to discuss anything we talked about, be sure you guys leave a comment down below. If you guys want to talk about any of our Black Ops 4 predictions, if you guys think we are just like blowing smoke about some of this stuff, you guys disagree with it being Black Ops 4, leave a comment. Talk about this. This is really where we want to get a conversation going.
Give us things to talk about. Like
what other things do you guys want us to talk about?
Comment as much as possible. Maybe we'll do a follow-up on this on what you guys think. Yeah. Next week, maybe we'll wait a little bit and we'll do our follow-up with what we've learned. But we're really excited to get this going and to hear what you guys think about this. If you hate this podcast idea, if you love it, we're super excited for it. Yeah. We hope you guys are, and we're excited to keep it going and give you as much information and futures, anything we can.
So much more stuff coming in soon for this. I'm really excited, but there you guys go. That is the end of our very first podcast. If you guys have enjoyed, like I said, give this video a thumbs up. And tell us what you guys want us to talk about more in the comments down below. What do you guys want to hear about next week? So, there you guys go. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video.